So in our today's class, we are going to be learning all we need to know about MySQL. First off, you need to understand that SQL is a declarative programming language. It is part of the Relational Database Management System, which is also known as RDBMS. The word relational can also stand for tabular. So it simply means that SQL stores data in a tabular form. And when you speak of tabular form, it means you are indicating that it has rows and columns. And in MySQL, rows can also be referred to as tuples or records. So if I say records, I'm definitely referring to rows. And columns can also refer to as fields or attributes. You see, under MySQL, we have what we call categories of statements. And the two major categories of statements, the first one, DDL, it means data definition language, which consists of create, alter, drop, truncate, rename. These are data definition languages. While the second category of statement is what we call DML, which is data manipulation language. Another data manipulation language, we have select, insert, update, delete, which is where we coin what we call the CRUD operation from, which is create, read, update, and delete. So in today's tutorial, we are going to be working on that CRUD operation. We are going to learn how to create a database, create a table, update, delete, and select. So to get started, the first thing we do is that we click on this SQL tab. After clicking on your SQL tab, you start with the first thing. You type create database, followed by the name of the database. So let's create this as student_info. So the name of our database in this case is student_info. After doing that, you simply click on go. So now the student_info is clearly appearing on our left hand side. So we click on it. After clicking on it, come back to this SQL. Click on SQL. So the next thing that we have to do here now is to create our table. The first thing is to create your database. The next thing is to create your table. So we type create table. Let's call our table stored_info. After doing that, open your parenthesis, then close it beneath it and end it with your semicolon. So we start with the first one, which is SN. SN stands for sequential number. So after that, followed by what kind of data type will this first column be accepting? In our case, it will be integers, which we popularly know as 1, 2, 3. So after this, followed by what we call a primary key. The reason we are adding primary key is simply because primary key is used for columns that are unique, that do not have repeating values. Then after that, we add another one called auto_increment. Auto_increment simply means increase this by 1. So the first row automatically becomes 1, the second row automatically becomes 2, comma. Then the next column, call it names. Now these names, we ask, what kind of data type is names accepting? Well, normally it's accepting what we call a string or a character. But in this case, we are going to use what we call varchar. Then what we are to put in between these parentheses is called the length or the values. So if I'm putting 100, that means I'm expecting all names to be below 100 or to be equal to 100, not above 100. So after that, I put not null. So not null simply means this must not be empty. This column must not be null or empty. So the next one, or the last one in this case, email. So email is also a string. So I'm going to use 255. That means knowing fully well that my emails will not be longer than 255 in terms of their characters. Not null also. Now because this is the last one, this is the last column, I'm specifically not adding a comma to it. If you add a comma, it's going to give you an error. A comma is indicating that something is coming below. Alright, so we click on go. So now you've understood how to create a database, and you've now understood how to create a table called stored_info. Now the next thing is to insert into this database. So let's click on SQL. just wipe this clear. Then we start typing insert into. So what are we inserting into? It has to be the table name, in which in our case is stored underscore info. Then after that, in between here, we enter our column names. SN names, comma, email. So depending on how many column names you actually created, it's going to appear here, and you just have to fill it here. Values. So the values indicates for each value of the column, and it's proper, it's in a single quotation mark. So for the SN, we are going to leave it blank. While for the names, let's enter a name. While for the email, let's enter an email. So after doing this, we add a semicolon. Let's click on the go. So it said incorrect integer value for column student underscore info row 1. Okay, so for this, let's just clear this first one since we've already added auto increment. So it has already been inserted. Let's click on browse. So we have one softramin@gmail.com. One came in place because of the auto underscore increment we gave during creation of the table. So let's add more data now. Let me just change this to softramin underscore info, and let me change this to softramin 123. So let's click on go. Alright, so let's click on browse. We've added another row. So you can continually add as many rows as you want. So now you've understood how to create a database, how to create a table, and now how to insert. So the next thing you need to understand is how to select or how to retrieve a value or read a value. So let's click on SQL. As usual, let's wipe this. Now let's type select asterisk. Well, this asterisk stands for everything. It stands for all. It stands for all columns. So select everything from followed by the table name. The table's name is stored underscore info. So we are going to type that in, stored underscore info. By clicking on go, there's nothing really different here because we just said select everything from stored underscore info. So it's showing us all the old data that is inside of this table. But we can decide to limit it by, for instance, let me say we want it to appear in a descending order. We add the clause called order by. So order by SN desk. Desk stands for descending. So let's click on go. You can now see instead of appearing 1, 2, it starts from 2, then 1. So it starts from the highest to the lowest, hence descending order. Okay, so another thing we can actually do here is that we can query this based on a condition, and that condition is a clause named where. So select everything from stored underscore info where SN equals to 2. Let's click on go. So you can see that it's only the second row that is being shown. So this is how websites go about it, and also data analysts that makes use of MySQL. Alright, now that we've understood select, the next thing we need to understand is what we call update. So let's update softramin to multi. So we know that this is on record 1 or row 1. We go to SQL, we type update. So what do we want to update? The table's name, stored underscore info, set. What column do we want to set? It is called names. Set names equals to multi. In this case, you can decide to use a single quotation or a double quotation. So update stored underscore info set names equals multi where SN is equals 1. Click on go. We click on browse. So we can see now that this names has changed from softramin to multi simply because of our update query. Now another thing you need to understand is that without putting this where, if I remove this where and just add, let me just say multi-pay, then click on go, you see what happens. Do you really want to execute? Okay, let's click on browse. It changes all the whole line. or every single thing in this column to multi-pay. So the usefulness of that where is to help us limit it to the particular row or record we want to change. So what if we want to change multiple columns in a particular record? So let me say multi now, comma, email equals to multi now at mail.com, where sn equals 1. So now I intend to change 2 columns in a particular row or in a particular record called 1. Let's click on go. Let's click on browse. You can now see the names multi now, the email multi now at mail.com. So now the last phase here is delete. So we need to learn how to delete. So we just simply say delete from followed by the table name, which is stored underscore info, where sn equals 1. So after writing this, we simply click on our go. It shows you an alert. You click on OK. Let's click on browse. You can see that line 1 is gone. So thanks. If you find this helpful, if you have any question, you can relate it in the comment section. If you find this helpful, please help us subscribe, like, and share this video. Thank you.